Hello everyone and welcome back once again. In today's video we will discuss more on the objective and multiple choice questions from environmental science. In fact, this will be the second part of our environmental studies series. Before we talk on the objective and multiple choice questions, let us first of all understand some of the facts and figures of the India's biodiversity status at present. Now we know that there are altogether 17 mega biodiversity nations in the world, and among them, Brazil holds the first rank in richness of biodiversity, and therefore, this Brazil is also known as the Earth's biodiversity champion. Now let's have a look on India's biodiversity status at present. Talking about the species of plant in the world, India holds the 10th position in the world and 4th in Asia. On the species of bird in the world, India holds the 9th position, and in the species of amphibians, India holds the 7th rank in the world position, and in the species of reptile, India holds the 5th positioned rank in the world. So we should keep in mind that the facts and figures that we are providing today is based on the recent research. There is likely to change in the near future, but for now these are some of the most important facts and figures with regard to the India's biodiversity status at present. Now let's start with the objective type of questions and the multiple choice questions. Question number 1. How many types of ecological pyramids are there altogether? Options given here are 2, 3, 4 or 5 pyramids. And the right answer for this will be altogether there are 3 pyramids. They are pyramid of energy, pyramid of numbers, and pyramid of biomass. Question number 2. Which of the following pyramid cannot be an inverted pyramid? Options given here are pyramid of energy, pyramid of numbers, pyramid of biomass, none of the above. So the pyramid that cannot be an inverted pyramid will be option number A, that is pyramid of energy. You can see from the pictorial image here, and we all know that the amount of energy that has been transferred from one tropic level to another is only 10%. So as you can see here, the numbers are decreasing here on the as the food energy has been transferred from one tropic level to another. So the pyramid of energy cannot be an inverted pyramid because the amount of energy at each tropic level decreases as it moves through an ecosystem. So among these 3 pyramids, pyramid of numbers can be both upright as well as inverted pyramid. So as to do with biomass, biomass can also be upright position, it can also be inverted position, but the pyramid of energy can always be an upright, it can never be an inverted position. Question number 3. The concept of ecological pyramid was given for the first time by Hegel, Rudolf Virchow, Charles Eldon, or Odom. And the right answer for this will be option number C, that is Charles Eldon, and therefore sometimes this ecological pyramid is also known as Eldonian pyramid. It was given in the year 1927. Next, question number 4. Pyramid of energy in a forest ecosystem is always inverted, always upright, both upright and inverted, none of the above. So like we have discussed earlier, pyramid of energy, when we talk about pyramid of energy, it can never be inverted, it will be always upright position. So the right answer for this will be option number B, that is always upright position. So you can see the example here. When we talk about energy is been transferred only 10% of its energy from one tropic level to another, so it always gets decreased. It can always be an upright position and never cannot be an inverted position. Question number 5. Pyramid of numbers deals with number of individuals in a tropic level, species in an area, individuals in a community, none of the above. And the right answer for this will be option number A, that is individuals in a tropic level. Question number 6. How many types of ecological successions are there? 1, 2, 3 or 4? There are altogether 2 types of ecological succession. They are primary succession and the secondary succession. Next, question number 7. A food chain generally consists of how many organisms? One organism, two organisms, three or four organisms. And the right answer for this will be option number C, that is three organisms. They are the producers, the consumers, and the decomposers. Next, question number 8. Which among the following is not a primary consumer? And the right answer for this will be option number D, because goat is a primary consumer, rabbit is also a primary consumer, grasshopper can also be a primary consumer, but tiger is not a primary consumer, it is a secondary consumer. So the right answer for this will be option number C. Question number 9. Agriculture refers to the practice of cultivation of crops, rearing domestic animals, both A and B, none of the above. Now we should not get confused. So when we talk about agriculture, we often think about cultivation of crops alone. But when we talk about the real agriculture here, it refers to the practice of not only cultivation of crops, but both cultivation of crops and rearing of domestic animals. So the right answer for this will be option number C, that is both A and B. Next, question number 10. Which among the following is not a characteristic of an insect? Insects are invertebrates. Insects have 6 legs. Insects have an antenna. Insects are divided into 2 body parts. So among these 4 options, which is not a characteristic of an insect? The right answer for this will be option number D, that is insects are divided into 2 parts. This is wrong because insects are divided into not 2 but it is 3 parts. So the right answer for this will be option number D. Let's have an example here. Let's take an example here. For example, an ant. You can see these are some of the characteristics of an insect. Insects are invertebrates because they do not have a backbone or a spinal cord. This is correct. Insects have 6 legs. You can count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Insects have 6 legs. Insects have an antenna. Here these are the 2 antennas in which insects have, and the body parts of an insect are divided into 2. This is wrong. The body parts divided into 3, that is 1, 2 and 3. So the topmost part of the body of an insect is called the head, the middle part is called the thorax, and the lower part is called an abdomen. Next, question number 11. Which among the following is not an insect now? Mosquito, butterfly, spider, or grasshopper? So among these 4 species, which one is not an insect? The right answer for this will be option number C, that is spider, because mosquito is an insect, butterfly is also an insect, grasshopper is also an insect, but spider is not an insect. Spider falls under the family of arachnids. So unlike that of an insect, that is the bodies which has been divided into 3 equal parts, in the case of spider that falls under the family members of an arachnid, the body parts are divided into only 2 sections. That is, the upper part is called the cephalothorax and the lower part is called an abdomen. So these are the 2 characteristics of an arachnid. So spider is not an insect, it is an arachnid. Next, question number 12. Important characteristics of a mineral. Now let's talk about characteristics of a mineral. There are altogether 4 most important characteristics. Number 1, it must be inorganic in origin. It must be found in nature. It should have a chemical composition that can be expressed by a chemical formula. And number 4, it must be crystalline solid. So these are the 4 characteristics of a mineral. So let's take an example of one mineral here. For example, this is a quartz. So whether this quartz qualify the characteristics of a mineral or not. Number 1, it must be inorganic in origin. So this quartz is inorganic in a sense, something that is not created by an organic matter, not by a live matter. So it is inorganic in origin, so it qualifies characteristics number 1. Number 2, it must be found in nature. Quartz are found in nature actually, so it also qualifies characteristics number 2. Number 3, it should have a chemical composition that can be expressed by a chemical formula. So the chemical composition and formula of quartz is SiO2, that is silicon and 2 oxygen. This is the chemical formula, so it also qualifies characteristics number 3. And number 4, it must be crystalline solid. So these quartz are solid, so this quartz qualifies all the 4 characteristics of a mineral. So this quartz can be a mineral. Now there are so many students who get confused whether this water can be called as a mineral or not. So we need to clarify this confusion for today. So let's try to take an example. Let's try to compare this water by looking at the four characteristics of these minerals. So characteristics number one, what it must be inorganic in origin. So water also qualifies characteristics number one because water is an inorganic in origin. It is found in nature. So water is also found in nature. It also qualifies characteristics number two. It should have a chemical composition and a chemical formula. So definitely water has a chemical composition, that is H2O, and its formula, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen makes water. Number 4 here, this creates a problem. It must be crystalline solid. However, water is a liquid, and therefore water cannot be called as a mineral. Now we should not get confused again. As once this water turned into an ice, it becomes a solid matter. Therefore, as long as this water remains a liquid, it cannot be called as a mineral. Once this water is turned into a natural ice, then it forms a solid in character. So it also qualifies characteristic number 4. So as long as water remains a liquid, it is not a mineral. When it turns into a solid, that is ice, it can be considered as a mineral. So you should not get confused whether to call water and ice as a mineral or not. So these are some of the 4 most important characteristics to be called any object as a mineral. Next, question number 13. The dust produced during mining operation is injurious to health, and it causes mainly brain damage, skin disease, lung disease, all of the above. The dust produced during mining, and especially that is coal mining, it is injurious to health, and it causes mainly option number C, that is lung disease. It is also called as pneumogenesis, which is known as a black lung. Next, question number 14. World food problems. Now, did you know that the world population is expected to grow to almost more than 10 billion by 2050? As such, there is a need for acceleration in productivity growth. Now, although agricultural investment and technological innovations are boosting productivity, yet the growth of yield are too low to feed the growing population, and the problem of hunger and world food problem still arises. Therefore, the fundamental ambition of the Sustainable Development Goal is to reach zero hunger by 2030. However, this ambition of the Sustainable Development Goal to reach zero hunger by 2030 has become a ground of debate because there are still many countries, and especially some developing countries, who are still facing the problem of malnutrition, starvation, and hunger. Now, this global hunger index, it is a tool that measures and tracks hunger globally as well as by region and by country. So now let's have a look on the rank of India as per this global hunger index. So in the year 2019, India hold the rank of 102 out of 117 countries. In the year 2020, India's rank was 94 out of 107 countries. In the year 2021, that is last year, India held the rank of 101 out of 160. Every year, Global Hunger Index is being published in the month of October. So for this year 2022, the Global Hunger Index is yet to be published. So these are some of the facts and figures you need to keep in mind from 2019 to 2021 with regard to the India's rank in the Global Hunger Index. Next, question number 15. Which of the following is an example of ex situ conservation? Options given here are wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, botanical garden, biosphere reserves. And the right answer for this will be, an example of ex situ conservation will be option number C, that is botanical garden. Now, as we talk about the conservation of biodiversity, like we have discussed in our last topic, there are 2 ways to conserve biodiversity. That is in situ conservation or on-site conservation, and ex situ conservation or external conservation. Under this in situ conservation, the um, in situ conservation are those type of conservations which are done without a constant human care or constant human intervention. So such examples can be a national park or a wildlife sanctuaries or biosphere reserves. Whereas on the other side, as we talk about an ex situ conservation, this type of conservations are done with a proper human care or proper and constant human surveillance. For example, it can be a botanical garden, or it can be a gene bank or a seed bank. So this is the difference between an in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. In an in situ conservation, animal and species are allowed to live in their own natural habitat or natural home. But in an ex situ conservation, we try to take out the endangered species and try to take care of them, and under the constant care and constant surveillance of human intervention. So this is the difference between in situ and ex situ conservation. So the botanical garden is an example of ex situ conservation, because human looked after this botanical garden and by taking a constant care on it. Question number 16. Which of the following is an example of consumptive use value of biodiversity? Silk, timber, wool, drugs. The right answer for this will be option number D, that is drugs. Now again, as we talk about the values of biodiversity, there are two values, that is direct values and indirect values. Under these direct values, we have first of all consumptive use value and the productive use value. So anything that is under this consumptive use value, any benefits or values that we get from the biodiversity which is used as a consumption by our human being. For example, it can be a fruits, it can be a vegetables, because we get all this a product from the biodiversity for our own consumption. So any type of species or any type of benefits or values that we get from biodiversity for our direct consumption will be consumptive use value. On the other side, for example, a timber is struck from the forest. We may not consume the timber from the forest, but we may use it for our export and import purpose, for an economic purpose. So we are making use of this timber for our productive use value. So this is the difference between consumptive use value and the productive use value. So basically what we need to keep in mind here is that whether it be a consumptive use value or a productive use value, any values that we get directly from the biodiversity, uh, um, after harming or after killing the biodiversity, will fall under direct values of biodiversity. For example, the fruits that we get from the garden, or the vegetables that we are getting benefit by consuming this, but only at the cost of the life of these fruits and vegetables. Only after killing these vegetables and fruits we are getting benefited out of it. Same has to do with the timber extract as well. We are getting benefited, we are getting an economic our economy is being boosted because of the export of this timber product, but only after killing the trees. So under the direct values of biodiversity, we may get benefited, we may get values of biodiversity, but at the cost of other biodiversity, that is by killing or harming the biodiversity again. So however, on the indirect values of biodiversity, for example, we have an aesthetic value of biodiversity, ethical values, social values, and optional values. So in this type of indirect values of biodiversity, we may get benefited, we may get the benefit or values of biodiversity without harming the biodiversity or without killing the biodiversity. For example, when you go and visit a beautiful a scenery or a botanical garden, you take the selfie from there, you get the the true taste of the beauty of nature, and we feel content, or we feel the pleasure of the nature by enjoying the beauty scenery of the nature. So such type of example, such type of benefit that we get from biodiversity is called an aesthetic value of biodiversity. So to get satisfied, to get contented by taking a picture, having a picnic on this type of biodiversity, you don't have to kill the environment, you don't have to kill the flowers, you don't have to kill the plants to get a selfie over there, but you get the benefit, you get the satisfaction for enjoying the landscape of that nature. So such type of benefit that we get from biodiversity will fall under indirect values of biodiversity. So basically here the difference between the direct values and indirect value is that the benefits that we get from biodiversity after harming or killing the biodiversity will fall under direct values. However, in an indirect values, we may get benefit, we may get the values of biodiversity without harming or without killing the biodiversity. Next, question number 17. Important features of biodiversity. For example, there are altogether 17 megadiversity countries in the world. And talking about the biomes, there are altogether 5 major types of biomes. And in Indian context, the biogeographical classification of India is 10. Altogether, there are 10 biogeographical classification of India. In India, we have 4 biodiversity hotspots. In all over the world, there are altogether 36 biodiversity. Among these 36 biodiversity, 4 are in India. Next, we have biosphere reserves. Altogether, we have 18 biosphere reserves in India. And talking about the national park, in India, we have altogether 105 national parks. Do not get confused with the number 104 in many a book material or many sources, because previously it was 104. Now it's upgraded to 105 because of this Dihing Patkai National Park, which is in Assam. So this Dihing Patkai National Park, which was earlier a wildlife sanctuary, but recently in the year 2021, the Patkai National Park, which was previously a wildlife sanctuary, was upgraded to a national park. So including this Dihang Patkai National Park, the number of national park in India rose from 104 to 105. So at present, the total number of national park in India is 105. So this Dihang Patkai National Park is the 7th national park of Assam. So in Assam, at present, there are altogether 7 national parks in Assam. Question number 18. India's first biosphere reserve is Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve, Banchmarhi Biosphere Reserve, Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, or Sundarban Biosphere Reserve. And the right answer for this will be option number C, that is Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. It is in the state of Tamil Nadu, established in the year 1986. Next, question number 19. Which is the India's first national park? Options given here are Kaziranga National Park, Ranthambore National Park, Gir National Park, or Jim Corbett National Park. Yes, and the right answer for this will be option number D, that is Jim Corbett National Park. It was in the state of Uttarakhand, established in the year 1936. Next question number, the old name of this Jim Corbett National Park was Hailey National Park. You should keep this in mind as well. Question number 20. The study of earthquake is called, options are given here, the 4 options. And the right answer for this will be the study of earthquake is called option number C, that is seismology. Question number 21. The point of origin of an earthquake below the Earth's surface is called isocenter, isopoint, seismic focus, or epicenter. We should keep in mind the word below here. This will make the difference, and often this will confuse us. So the point of origin of an earthquake below the Earth's surface is called not epicenter, but option number C, that is seismic focus. Let's take an example here. For example, this is the Earth's surface, and this is the epicenter in which the earthquake took place on the surface of the land. So epicenter means it is a point on the Earth's surface vertically above the seismic focus. So if you look down here, below the epicenter, there is a point in which the seismic wave or the seismic wave or the earthquake wave is being generated at first point. So this point is called a seismic focus. So the right answer, according to this question, the point of origin of an earthquake below the Earth's surface. So this is the Earth's surface. So the below the Earth's surface will be, the right answer will be seismic focus, and the point vertically above the seismic focus will be the epicenter. So this is the difference between epicenter and the seismic focus. Question number 22. The magnitude of an earthquake is measured by which instrument? Seismograph, barometer, Richter scale, or seismogram? This is a very common question. Yes, and the right answer for this will be option number C, that is Richter scale. It was developed by Charles Francis Richter, and the name Richter scale was given after the name of Charles Francis Richter. It was developed in the year 1935. Question number 23. The study of a cyclone is known as cosmology, biodiversity, cyclonography, or seismology. And the right answer for this will be option number B, that is biodiversity. That will be the name of the study of cyclone. Number 24. Let us try to have a look on the most important environmental days now. First of all, we have an International Flower Day. It is observed every year on the 19th of January. World Environmental Education Day. We should not get confused with World Environment Day. This is a World Environmental Education Day and not World Environment Day. So World Environmental Education Day is observed every year on 26th of January, which is also a Republic Day for India. Number 3, World Wildlife Day is observed on 3rd of March. World Forestry Day, or sometimes it is called as a World Planting Day, it is observed on 21st of March every year. Number 5, World Water Day is observed on 22nd of March. Earth Hour Day is observed on 26th of March. And we should keep in mind that the World Earth Hour is celebrated every year on the last Saturday of the month of March. So the date for the celebration of this Earth Hour will differ from year to year because it will be on the last Saturday of every March. And it is published under the initiative of WWF, which means Worldwide Fund for Nature. Number 7, World Health Day is observed every year on 7th of April. Number 8, Earth Day is observed on 22nd of April. International Biodiversity Day is observed on 22nd of May. And the Tobago Day is celebrated every year on 31st May. We still have a few more points to go. World Environment Day, as we all know, it is observed on the 5th of June. World Ocean Day is observed every year on 8th of June. World Population Day is observed on 11th of July. World Ozone Day is celebrated on 16th of December. World AIDS Day every year is on the 1st December. World Soil Day is every year on the 5th December. And lastly, National Energy Conservation Day is observed on 14th of December. Now that's all about some most important environmental days of the year. Now let's have a look on the themes of the Environment Day celebrated this year, that is the year 2022. So first of all, let's have a look here. World Wildlife Day is celebrated already this year, and the theme for World Wildlife Day was recovering key species for ecosystem restoration. Next, World Forestry Day, which is already celebrated. The theme of this World Forestry Day for the year 2022 was Forests and Sustainable Production and Consumption. Next, World Water Day. The theme of the World Water Day was Groundwater, Making the Invisible Visible. Next, Earth Hour Day is also been celebrated already, and the theme for this year was Shape Our Future. The theme for World Health Day this year, it was Our Planet, Our Health. And the theme for Earth Day this year was Invest in Our Planet. Biodiversity Day already observed, and the theme for this Biodiversity Day, International Biodiversity Day for this year was Building a Shared Future for All Life. And Anti-Tobacco Day, the theme for this year was Tobacco, Threat to Our Environment. And lastly, World Environment Day. Of course, it will celebrate only on the 5th of June, but the theme for World Environment Day this year will be Only One Earth. So these are some of the most important and selected 25 objective and multiple choice questions, as well as important environmental tests and along with the themes. So with this, we will wind up our session for today, and thank you so much for joining this session.